I was so nervous, my heart was beating like I had just finished a race, and my hands were shaking like I have just stepped out from a refrigerator. So in this video I want to share with you an experience which made me realize that I'm still very far from the ultimate freedom I'm seeking. So enjoy the video. Hey, welcome to Journey to Freedom's Life Unfiltered series. My name is Armin and I'm inspiring people by sharing my own journey of becoming the best possible version of myself and creating the life I have been dreaming of. In a Life Unfiltered series, I'm sharing my own journey in its unpolished form, without making things look better as they are. So with all its ups and downs and with all of achievements and failures. It was about 4 years ago when I started to walk on this path, and despite that I have already gone such a long way, I just realized I have even longer way to go. 2 years ago I wrote a post in my blog with a headline, "The biggest change during my personal development journey," where I shared how I started to tackle one of my biggest fears, and which is also one of the biggest problems in today's society, and that is what people think of me. And I didn't even know that I had this kind of problem. And people who knew me back then, it was a completely surprise to them that I'm having such a fear. To them, I looked somebody who's completely doesn't give a fuck what others think. But when I started to walk on this journey, I realized I did all those crazy things only to get attention from my friends. But outside of my friends circle, when there were no friends with me, I was completely shy, and I didn't want to get any unnecessary attention from strangers. After this realization, I started to face my fears by putting myself on harm's way intentionally, so I could become stronger than my fear of what people think of me. I have seen a pretty big leap with this challenge already, and I thought I could handle this fear pretty well. But oh man, I was completely wrong. My ego got me by surprise. We had an event in Tallinn about one project, and I also went to that event. In the event I wanted to make an interview with one of those so-called big boys, and during the lunchtime I contacted the guy who was organizing this event and asked him, is it okay for me to get an interview from this Sepco's representative? And he said, yes, it's completely okay, and let's ask that guy himself. But as my target was having a conversation with others, we didn't want to disturb their conversation. And the guy who I asked it first also had to do some other things, so I was left alone. I walked around in the room and I was thinking, what should I do? I didn't know, is it okay for me to go straight to that person and ask him for this interview? But then I saw another Estonian who was on the stage earlier in that event, and I asked him, is it okay for me to make this kind of interview? And he said, yes, it is okay, but as he also had some other things to do, he couldn't help me in that moment. So I was left alone again. I was already getting ready that I am not getting that interview, but I have promised many that I'm making this interview if it's possible, or at least make some kind of overview of this event, but I had nothing. So there I was just standing and thinking, oh fuck, what should I do? Should I go straight to talk? But I didn't know, is it polite that just some random guy who is almost nobody in the grand scale is going and talking such an important figure. Of course, I cannot think myself as nobody, because this will give the opportunity for me to become somebody. but this is a topic of another video. So there I was standing and thinking, I'm failing this mission. I haven't shot any videos to make the overview, and now the opportunity to make this interview is also closing because our lunchtime was almost ending. My ego was just holding me back and filling my mind with fears. What could happen if my approach won't go as planned and I'm getting rejected? But then next moment my target walked into the room and he stood just a couple of meters from me. Now or never was my next thought, and do I want to become a successful YouTuber or I want to stay where I am right now? So I punched myself to the chest, of course in my head, and walked to that person and started talking. Hey, can we have a few words with you? And he said yes, of course. And then we exchanged some formalities, and I asked him, is it okay for me to make video interview with him? And he said yes, it's completely fine, and we can do after the event, after we have finished the event. So all my fears were in vain. After the event I had all my questions ready. I have written everything to my notebook what I wanted to ask exactly. So I was sitting behind the table where we will do the interview, and I was rehearsing my lines. And the more I did that, the more nervous I become because I never have done anything like this. I have never done such an interview. So I was afraid, can I get all those lines which I want to say, can I get them out, and also can I spell them correctly? And the more I thought about it, the more nervous I become. My heart started to beat and my hands started to shake. Then I tried to calm myself with a couple of big inhales, because usually it helps you to get out from your mind if you fully concentrate on your breathing. But as I had so many people around me, I didn't want them to see that I'm nervous about this thing. So I stopped breathing and I tried to wriggle myself out from this anxiety by thinking that it's not a big deal, it goes as it goes, you just enjoy yourself and see how it is ending up. But my ego had so strong grip over me and it didn't let me go. So at the moment we started this interview, I was already so nervous that my heart was beating like I have just finished the race, and my hands were shaking like I have just stepped out from a refrigerator. And the notebook which I had on my hand, because I wanted to read my questions from there, it was amplifying my shaking. So if my hand is shaking a little bit, but the notebook was shaking even more. So this didn't help at all. And I was thinking, just man, take it together, you can do this. Then I found that if I lean my elbows on armrest, I can at least stop shaking off my notebook. So this problem is at least out of the way, and my hands weren't shaking so heavily, so you can see it. And then the interview started. But during the interview, my ego didn't let me go still. During the conversation we had, I was constantly thinking about the questions which I will ask next, so I can get those questions correctly. So I wasn't putting much attention what my conversation partner was actually telling me. And also I didn't know where should I look, how it is ending up in the video afterwards. And looking to the eyes of my conversation partner was very unpleasant. But then I remembered one good tip. If you want to look somebody, look to their nose, because for them you are looking like to their eyes, but you get rid of this unpleasant feeling of eye contact. So during the interview I was constantly looking to my partner's nose, so I wouldn't have to look to his eyes. And eventually the interview was done and I was still alive. I messed up in some parts by correct wording, but nothing unbearable. So this was a good wake-up call for me. that I have still a very long way to the ultimate freedom I'm seeking for. Because I was thinking that I can already handle situations like this, but when my ego faces the unknown, he raises its head and paralyzes almost all my actions, so I cannot do anything. So this was the experience I wanted to share with you. We may think that nothing can bother us and we are almost like invincible, but in reality, when we face ego's biggest fear, the unknown, we lose all our courage and we are just a toy for our ego. So ego is having so strong grip over our behavior, and we cannot do things which we actually would like or want to do. And to free ourselves from ego's limits and boundaries, it takes lots of time and lots of work. But as this video is already quite long, I will end it here. So thank you for your time for watching this video, and I hope you got some value out of this video too. And if you did, smash that like button and feel free to share this video with anyone you think this video or my channel can benefit. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, do so to see more videos like this. And if you subscribe, hit that bell icon too. Only then you will be notified whenever I'm uploading new video. So thanks again, and I hope to see you in the next video. So take care, peace and much love to you all. Bye bye.